place across the country. Now, sit-ins for racial justice did not start in 1960. People had been using that form of protest for a number of years. I think the earliest one that I can find in this country was in Virginia in 1939, and another one, believe it or not, in New York City the same year. If you look at sit-ins in the 1960s, though, you find Greensboro, North Carolina, you find Nashville, Tennessee. What you don't find is Houston, Texas, without doing a lot of digging. But in fact, on April 4th, 1960, a group of students from Texas Southern University went to Weingarten's Market on Alameda and sat in the lunch counter as a way of protesting for racial justice. Wasn't their first sit-in. They had a series of sit-ins. But it's generally agreed that those sit-ins were very influential in beginning the desegregation of Houston, Texas. If you want to know more about that particular protest, there's a 6.5-minute video on YouTube, and there's also an article in Quran.com that talks a lot about the details. I tell you that story in order to introduce two of our honored guests. Professor Servino Sandifer Walker is here. She is a professor at Texas Southern University. She specializes in getting messages out through multimedia. She was influential in getting the Houston Historical Commission to establish a marker for these protests. And she's also the author of the article in Quran.com, which gives you details of this. In addition, we have Dr. Halcyon Sadbury Watkins. Dr. Watkins was one of the first African-American veterinarians in this country, and we were just talking earlier, I have to say the first official African-American veterinarian, because I suspect we were taking care of folks' animals for a lot of years before that. But more importantly, she was one of those students that risked a lot, including physical harm, to march into that market, to sit in that lunch counter for what she believed in. So with that, I'd like to introduce Professor Walker.